Yeah, this is JD79, and here we go again. I say yes, I post the video saying this is getting serious, and as we see, it's right now snow turning to a little sleet, and as we see, it's really getting deep, and I did took a couple of pictures from earlier, even before the storm, and how high of a snow, how high a snowbank I have from my corner of my driveway. Right now it's not been plowed, so I had to park in the streets before the plows can come in and over here. But right now it's turning over to sleet, a little sleet and freeze rain, but it could be like ending now. The forecast is a little changed a little bit, but not. They've cut down the accumulation, but it's not necessarily better because now they're packing in more ice towards the precipitation tomorrow. So this is going to be. We could have an ice storm, which is the worst thing to have. And I know how I feel about ice storms. Here's a couple of videos. Yeah, power lines arcing, weeks without power. You can't go anywhere in the ice storm. Trees blocking the road. That's why I say ice storms are the worst of the winter storms. They're, because in blizzards you have less likely of losing power because you can actually shake the thing off. The snow off the trees. Where in ice, it's just sticking on the trees. It's like you can't shake it off, and you're just praying mercy that your tree was going to survive. And as you can see, there's like a lot of snow drift going up in this plant here. Something that I've been taping here. This is going to be like a little famous thing here. Look at that snow on that roof. I mean, it's getting really high. Look how high the snow thing. Look how high the snow is on the roof right now. I'm afraid that's going to be collapsing a little bit. Hope that doesn't collapse here, but probably my roof I have to worry about tomorrow too. This is storm number 6 now. I'm going to have to call it Storm Series 6 a winter event 6 because this is actually a double barrel storm. Today's about 5 to 10 inches of snow. Tomorrow it's going to be like about the same amount of snow and put ice into it. So I hope I don't lose power tomorrow. Because you know, I've seen the videos on ice storms and how bad they are. These power lines going bzz, 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 and the sparks coming out and followed by a home. And yeah, I heard stories of ice storms and how bad they are. And Hopefully it wouldn't be that bad. Hopefully it wouldn't be that bad. They let me get out of work early tomorrow and taking the day off today and taking the day off tomorrow. And yeah, tell me. And I tell you, these storms like this, you have to eat. You just gotta eat something that tastes good to get over this snow blues that I'm going through. And Home Good Guys post a comment says, "Hey, are you expecting Armageddon?" Yeah. Well, we may or may not get one. I'm not sure. Because of how much of a mental state I was in looking at that map when I was posting that last video, because of how much of a series of storms that I've gone through. And yeah, we're having La Nina, and we're having this weird La Nina patterns, and it's the cold air plus it's giving off the Gulf of Mexico. That's why it's giving us all the snow. And but we may or may not have a big storm. Who knows? The way this winter's been going through, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one. We may not. Let's hope for the best. And but this is Storm 6 Part 1. Part 2 is going to be tomorrow. Right now it's changed a little bit over to sleeting somewhat right now. I tell you, this has been an insane winter thus far. And we normally do have sometimes a storm or two, maybe like on a lot of winters, but this is the 6th snowstorm this season. Or one of them probably maybe a snow sleet rain storm that I've been having on Friday. I don't know what it is. And I was hurting a lot of traffic this morning. Actually, what took me like once about 10 minutes to get to work took me a half an hour to get to work, because the road I usually go on is just jam-packed with traffic. And I was hearing spin-outs everywhere on the Mass Bike 1495. There's a car off the road. What I tell you, this is some winter we're having this far. My mother's staying at a hotel tomorrow night because of weather, of course. And yeah, this is part 1 of the winter. A couple of other things I'm going to tell you about here. Response to Activision. I say where's Pitfall on another comment. In response to that, well, yeah, there's a Pitfall on the Wii, but man, that's just a remake of the Lost Expedition, something that we've already played on the PS2 and the GameCube. And we haven't had a new Pitfall game in, like, say, at least 6-7 years. But we really need a new Pitfall game. And as far as Activision, yeah, I mean, it's time for you to go back to your basics here. And start, you know, going, at least bringing Pitfall back in the spotlight again. Try remaking a couple of Atari games, like, you know, River Raid. I mean, get a new River Raid game, remake River Raid, and see what about that. Dig out a couple of old Atari games and remake them. I mean, don't just rip people off and spending 40 or 50 bucks and just trying to make them all over again. Just remake them. I mean, we like to have remakes of Atari 2600 games, not just ports of Atari 2600, but rather remakes. And that's why I have to talk about Activision. And Squaresoft and Square Enix, they're actually sort of becoming a little bit like EA. Final Fantasy, they're still running a series, but they're seriously milking it down to the ground now. And they're not, I want to say to Squaresoft, they really need to go back to the basics of Final Fantasy. Like, bring it medieval. Like Final Fantasy 5 and 6. Bring back the medieval style. I mean, Final Fantasy 5, 6, and 9. I mean, they were good Final Fantasy games. And 7's okay. But 11, well, actually, Final Fantasy 12 is sort of on the the better ones of the future because, like, you know, sort of medieval. But I mean, 13 just sucks, and they're making 13.2 and 10.2. At least, but I like to see a sequel, a direct sequel, and do it on 6 and 5. Because I really like to have some medieval type Final Fantasy stuff with classic ATB battles. That's what I love to have back on Final Fantasy. And more on the, I'm gonna have to get a little update on that to lawmakers about the walking ban and stuff. A lawmaker in Arkansas just decided to drop it because people are with a lot of people are with me. But the law has gone too far. I would say also, but one thing I'm forward to is passing a law banning texting while bicycling, texting and cell phone use while bicycling, but allow the use of iPods, of course, because of course using an iPod is just like listening to a radio in your car, and but yeah, if you're interfering with people listening to iPods while jogging, I mean, I don't think that's right. Because a lot of people are jogging on the streets on listening to the iPods, but they're still alert. They can see where they're going. They just have to look both ways, and they should be fine. And look at the traffic lights and see, you know, walking. When you're on the side roads, of course, stay on the side of the road. I mean, because there are people that don't use iPods that jog in the middle of the road. And let me tell you something. This video with the Pennsylvania woman turning into the fountain. She's just. This was just a classic case of looking to the text screen here, and that's just my latest view on texting while walking ban crap and like that. Oregon's passing some law, but it's aimed at bicycles, not pedestrians. But they're still aiming towards iPods, and I really don't like it. I mean, but I do support a texting ban and cell phone use while riding a bicycle. Texting a ban unless you're at a stopped position. Then you can text in like this. But anyway, this is storm number 6. My little response to Activision. Squaresoft is becoming more of a milking like this right now, and that's what I have to say. JD out, and I hope that this is the last of the 2 storms, and hopefully no more this winter, because I'm just getting sick of this winter.